welcome back. Who knew we'd make it this many episodes without me going crazy? It is the soapbox once again. For all you soapboxaholics that just keep watching. Some of you just because you know me, others because it interests you. I don't know. Today I was driving down the road, and this week has just been a bad week for drivers. I've almost been hit by 6 different drivers who either weren't paying attention, didn't know the rules of the road, or they were just careless. Sometimes it's a good driver who just phases out, zones out, they've been working too hard, and they stop paying attention. I think the main focus point here is, though, the people who are complete morons while they're driving, or morons before they were driving who were for some reason given a license. I think that, sometimes we're a little lenient there with who we give licenses to. I don't want to say we shouldn't give licenses to people, but I think there are certain people who definitely haven't earned the license. We've started treating driving a little bit more as a privilege and a little bit less as what it is, that privilege. That's not how I said it. We've stopped treating it as a privilege, and we've started just saying it's a right for everybody to drive, and that's wrong. Definitely wrong. And I'm going to share an experience with you from a friend that I went to high school with. Here, the driver's ed is part of the curriculum, and you can take the class with the school, and you don't have to necessarily go to the DMV. But mine was a 1 test, 1 pass, no big deal. Straight through. I studied for the test. I took initiative. I wanted to be a good driver. I didn't want to get into accidents and pay a whole bunch of money to insurance companies. I didn't want to have to deal with that. So I took the initiative. I learned the rules of the road before I, actually went out there and became a human battering ram. I had one individual who was kind of a friend of our groups, and he took the test 15 times. The 15th time is when he passed. So he failed 14 times. Isn't that too many? To me, that's way too many to say, I'm going to let you drive 14 times and nearly kill people 14 times, and the 15th time you did just enough to pass, great, have a good time. You wouldn't. Normal people like you and I would not pass that person. Most of us are smart enough to go, I don't want to be driving with that idiot on the road. I don't want to have him blow through a stop sign and T-bone and kill me. And I think that the driver's education course teachers and whoever else is taking care of this stuff needs to realize you wouldn't hand this guy a gun 14 times and hope he didn't kill somebody. I mean, he's that dumb that he could really cause some problems there because he's got this gun and he doesn't know how it works, and he's pointing it at his face and he's pointing it at you. At that point, it's an obvious, no, I'm not going to give the gun back after once. Okay? I may teach him and let him try one more time. Maybe go for twice, but I'm a lot more cautious the second time and a lot more critical of what he's doing. But I would not hand him that gun and say, well, here, try again. He almost killed us. No, you're going to be like, hey, moron, stop, stop, stop. I'm taking this away until you've learned the rules the right way. And then the second time you go to hand that gun, you're going to stand a little behind him and a little to the side. You're going to make sure that he's not pointing that at him, you, anybody else that it shouldn't be pointed at. What's the difference in a car? I'm sorry. It's just as easy to kill somebody with a car as a bullet, probably easier. 35 miles an hour down the road and you run over some little kid because you didn't have a clue. What difference is that? It should not be allowed. Okay, I pull up to a 4-way stop and it's like a game of chicken because nobody knows the rules of a 4-way stop. And I'm not talking everywhere I go. This happens a ton to me here in Utah. Big city Utah, small city Utah, no difference. People have no respect for the rules, no respect for the road. It's a right to drive, not a privilege. It has become a right, and that is wrong. Everybody should have to answer for not being able to drive. If you pull up to a 4-way stop and you go, I don't know the rules. I don't know if I'm supposed to go, if that guy's supposed to go, if that guy's supposed to... Because then you get everybody sitting around looking at each other. And nobody knows. There's a bunch of nodding and head shaking, and it's like, I get tired because I pull up and I know the rules, and I got the guy who's in the spot who should be going, looking at me going, hey, go. And I'm like, no, I'm going to get killed. This guy's going to hit me because you're an idiot. No. I don't want to be involved in that. So please, Utah drivers, I'm going to put a link down below here for you guys. If you don't know some rules, you just happen to be driving one day and you go, wow, I don't know this one. Look at the book. I'll post you whatever link I can find here that says, this is the rule, dummy. But please don't just go, well, better luck next time, maybe I'll just suddenly remember magically. It is okay to review things, guys. It really is. You would review how to use a handgun because you might kill yourself or somebody else. You might do the same thing in a car because you're a moron if you don't. You're a moron if you don't know the rules and you just ignore the fact that you don't know them. That's all. Okay? And you know what? I've actually seen, you know, you get all these reports of terrible drivers in Los Angeles and New York and all these places. I'll tell you what, I've driven in the Los Angeles area. I've driven down through Long and Huntington Beach. Those beautiful areas. And they are some of the most courteous drivers I've been around in the last 10 years. On a consistent basis, they are the most courteous. I think that unfortunately, they're probably having to pay for their insurance. They're paying for things. They get their license taken away. There's not a court system that goes, well, you know, it's okay. We're going to let you slide on this one because you only killed 3 children, 1 old lady, and a dog. No, take the license away. And I'm sorry. There are people who shouldn't be allowed to drive. It's not necessarily they didn't have the skills, but the skills are gone. If your grandparents are too old to be able to see 30 feet in front of them, 10 feet in front of them sometimes, why are we letting them go and drive? Why do we continue to give that person a driver's license? Because they're old and we feel bad for them? No. It is family's responsibility to help take care of that person now because they helped take care of you growing up. Okay? That's all there is to it. They have shuttles, they have vans, they have wonderful facilities for this stuff. Please, please, take that person's driver's license away when it's time. Okay? And in the case of my moron friend, I wish he'd have never gotten a license. I wish after twice they'd have said, take a hike. You got 2 years, come back after 2 years. Because then that person's going to actually study and try and learn how to be a good driver. Why? Because they didn't just get to drive. They didn't get to take the test over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Could you imagine taking that test that many times? Guessing probably would have passed you. Okay? There are those people out there who are driving right now. And I hope it stops. I hope that there's enough people that get their head on straight and say, no, this is a bad deal. Okay? Grandma Hillbilly just ran down 3 dogs and a deer and didn't flinch. Okay? She backed into some car and took off, and we didn't write her a ticket because she's old. She's old. We feel bad. I don't. I don't feel the least bit bad. I hope they take her license away because she's no longer safe to drive. But that's what I think. Once again, you guys have your opinion. Go ahead and post it down below in the box. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I'm just a big fan of only smart people driving. And I hope you don't have an argument for smart people driving and morons not getting the license. But if you do, go ahead and throw it down below. Tell me what you think.